Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Check out this formula. This is the magical DeFi formula. So if you're new to this, or if you're native in the cryptocurrency space, before we get into that, x.y is equal to k. This is the magical formula that's taken the whole world by storm. And it's the very definition of what DeFi is. Such a simple thing. Now, there's some terminologies you have to familiarize yourself with, like TVL, trade volume, market cap, AMM, liquidity pools, impermanent loss, all these different things. They're just fancy terminologies, but they're extremely important if you're navigating the DeFi space. Hey, you have to have the financial knowledge in order to empower yourself in this growing cryptocurrency ecosystem, guys. It's extremely important. Now, in today's video, we're going to review some of the DeFi platforms out there that haven't completely collapsed. They've actually not collapsed at all, unlike these centralized exchanges here that have completely collapsed. Hence reminding us that not your keys, not your coins is a very important phrase. Not just a phrase, but a very important concept to know if you're moving ahead in the crypto space. But first, welcome to my channel. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you're interested in this kind of content. Welcome. There's a couple of terms I mentioned at the beginning, and we're going to look at those definitions as we look at some of the most prevalent DeFi platforms out there. I'm not going to mention them in any particular order, but they've stood the test of time. They haven't completely collapsed and they're still here with us, which is extremely important. And the market is generally starting to learn the importance of having your own tokens in your own custody, and there's a bunch of things you can do with them. So at its very core, a DeFi platform essentially helps you swap one token for the other, and this was started by Uniswap, which was one of the groundbreaking exchanges that developed that formula you saw at the start. Essentially, you put in, for example, Ethereum, you put in a stablecoin DAI, and you have to make sure it's equal. For example, you put in $1,000 worth of Ethereum, $1,000 worth of DAI. In total, that's $2,000. So with anyone else that wants to swap Ethereum for DAI is a stablecoin on Ethereum, which is managed by smart contracts. So if you come with Ethereum and you want a stablecoin called DAI, you place that in the pool and you extract the DAI stablecoin and you go use with it whatever you want. So that value that's locked into these different pools, they refer to as pools, that's where you get the total value locked. Now, there was another terminology we looked at, which was impermanent loss. So for example, if you put Ethereum and DAI and someone else just comes and deposits Ethereum into that smart contract because they want to extract the stablecoin, which is DAI, it means in that pool there's more Ethereum than the stablecoin, which implies that your Ethereum has to be sold off into the DAI stablecoin to maintain a balance of that pool, because it always has to equal to the same amount. You can't have $2,000 worth of Ethereum and $500 worth of DAI. If you have $2,000 worth of Ethereum, it has to be $2,000 worth of DAI. If you have $2,000 worth of Ethereum and $500 worth of DAI, it has to sell off the Ethereum in order to balance that pool. So essentially, that's where you get impermanent loss, because in terms of Ethereum, you have less. In terms of DAI, you have more. But in total, you have less because the Ethereum price has been impacted, because there exists more Ethereum in that pool than the stablecoin. So I think other terminologies will be a little bit self-explanatory, but let's look at some of these exchanges and look at their statistics, as these things will make more sense as you look at them. So if we start with PancakeSwap, you can see that they're saying they have 1.8 million users in the last 30 days, guys, just 30 days. 55 million trades made in the last 30 days and $6.1 billion staked, total value locked. So they're telling you that they have that much value locked in there. It might not be the exact amount right now. I don't know how this statistic fluctuates, but if you actually check in there, you find that they actually have $2.2 billion staked. So I think maybe at the height of the markets, they had as much as billions. Some of these DeFi platforms actually have billions in them, some have millions, but still a whole bunch of money for a new financial system, which is quite interesting. And that's why you should pay attention to decentralized finance, because it's not just a fad, but it's something that has come to stay. As you can see here, there's a total value locked, which is a combination of all the other tokens that you can swap back and forth. When you combine all of them, that's the total value in this DeFi platform. The other platforms like Swap, and I forgot to mention that these different platforms are also supporting different chains. For example, this supports not only Binance Swap, but Ethereum and Aptos, which is one of the layer ones that are taking over, that came up somewhere around this year and took the market by storm. Another one we can look at is Swap. This was mostly on the Polygon network, but it also came in to show that they're supporting different networks like Ethereum, Avalanche, Solana, Phantom, Arbitrum, Optimism. Some of those are layer 2 scaling solutions for Ethereum. Crypto.com on Kronos, and others, Ethereum Proof of Work, Velas, and so many other platforms that they support. Because that's their way, and so many other popular DeFi platforms, that's their way of trying to get into this whole interoperability thing. Because different platforms or ecosystems have proved themselves to actually have a functional user base, or different communities, should I call them, that are interested in the products that they're trying to build. So because the market hasn't properly figured out how to interoperate all these different blockchains and how to seamlessly help them communicate, these DeFi platforms have decided to implement these different contracts in there where the users of a particular interest, especially because these contracts can be run on MetaMask, which is the biggest wallet of the Ethereum ecosystem, but it has something called an Ethereum virtual machine. So these different networks, if they have EVM or Ethereum virtual machine attached to them, it means they're easy to implement because you use the same wallet. You just have to change which network you're using, and then you can trade your tokens for whatever network you're using. So that's a simple way that the exchanges are looking at in terms of implementing this whole interoperability thing, as the networks try to figure out how to actually make it seamless and very clean. So other exchanges you come across out there, the popular names are like Compound Finance, and you find they have the total earnings in terms of how much money is floating around. See 160 million, total borrowing 76 million, and you find other statistics. For example, a total of $656.8 million of borrowing, backed by 2.1 billion in collateral across two networks. So they're mostly talking about the Ethereum version 1 and Ethereum, but so they have the combined value of borrowed assets and the total value locked in these different networks. So you can see we're still looking at billions of dollars. Aave is another platform out there that's very popular, a DeFi platform on Ethereum network, but many of these platforms also try to pull in other infrastructures, as you can see, or other networks that support the Ethereum network, or they themselves have their own massive growing communities. As you can see, the Ethereum network is supported by Aave. It has a community treasury of over $100 million. Polygon network is supported. Avalanche network is also supported. They have an ecosystem reserve of $79 million, treasury collectors of $33 million. So you're looking at these platforms that are essentially used for swapping one token for another, and some of them implement governance models, which simply means that communities can actually contribute towards how these networks move forward and how they implement their different improvements or technologies. Another network we're going to look at is Balancer, one of the popular ones on Ethereum, but we're mostly looking at these different traded volumes in there. A trade volume in 7 days of 963 million, total liquidity 1.2 billion, liquidity providers are 21,000. So those are people that are putting in their tokens in there of different pairs. Could be Ethereum, could be a version of Bitcoin, could be any other token out there that's on these networks that's supported as a swapping pair on these different exchanges. And as a result, you can see they're telling you that they have 3,663 total pools in there. So Balancer is so amazing, or is so impressive, because they're among the first to show different ways of how you can mix these different liquidity pools. So that's why you can see different technologies or even different networks have done their own versions of spin-offs on the Balancer network. For example, you can see Bithoven, officially friendly fork of Balancer on Optimism, which is a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum, and Phantom, which is another network. So designed to evolve and adopt, Bithoven X provides all the tools necessary for anyone to participate in the future of finance. Others like Aura, boosting DeFi stakeholders' yield, potential, and governance power. Starting with Balancer, Aura to the Balancer ecosystem is similar to Convex to Curve. So you can see different networks, or Aave, one of the big platforms out there. Aave is the cornerstone of DeFi lending and borrowing. Aave is a core partner with many joint projects like Boosted Pools and their 80/20 Aave ETH safety incentive pools. So different innovations going on in this space. We can also look at DYDX, which is one of the biggest. These guys, what they do, they have a decentralized exchange, but it's doing perpetual trading, which means they have smart contracts which point at different cryptos, but you essentially can trade on the future price of cryptos. This feature is normally in centralized exchanges, but this is one of the decentralized exchanges that has offered this and still offers this right now. They're actually going to move their blockchain onto Cosmos technology, into the Cosmos ecosystem, because of the scalability it offers and the likelihood of interoperability that they can leverage to tap into a vast array of ecosystems out there and value locked. So they see that as a potential scaling solution for their platform if they're looking to expand it in a meaningful way. So obviously perpetual trading just means trading on the future price of something. You say, for example, if someone's saying I'm going to sell this at this particular price, or I'm going to buy this at this particular price, not at the current market price, you can say, hey, I'll only sell this if it's at this price, or I'll only buy this if it's at this price. So you're trading at the future of those different prices. So that's what these guys do, and they're the most popular decentralized futures trading platform. And you can see they support a lot of networks, a lot of ecosystems in their vast arsenal. And they tout security, privacy, low fees, cross margin trading. They have a trading volume in the last 24 hours of over $600 million, over 206,000 trades, and an open interest in the last 24 hours of $270 million. So you can see there's some serious trading going on these different platforms. And that's why, guys, you cannot underestimate the power of decentralized finance. And that's why so many people are bullish on DeFi, because it can do a lot of things, not just trading tokens, but also the exchange of NFTs and the exchange of actual physical assets. That's where the platforms I haven't put here, like synthetics, where you get actual physical commodities, put a price on it, and be able to trade it in a digital sense. But this is where things like identity comes in. If we manage to figure out identity in the crypto space, then so many doors will be open to so many financial possibilities in this space. And of course, the last product I'll talk about is Uniswap, which is the platform that essentially introduced the formula that I just talked about, with the simple technology of being able to swap one token for another. And they also support not just Ethereum mainnet itself, but also Polygon, which is arguably the main Ethereum or blockchain, which is with the intent of scaling the Ethereum ecosystem all the way from the start up to now. Optimism, one of them as well, Arbitrum, Celo network as well. So those are the networks that Uniswap supports, with the simple technology of just swapping one token for another. And if you're interested in another network that's Ethereum virtual machine compatible, you can just click on it and go ahead and do your swap. So guys, this is a video that a lot of you might know about this, but there might be someone else who doesn't know about it, or maybe you needed a little bit more reaffirmation of this technology and where it's headed. So just make sure you don't forget these core technologies that I've developed in the crypto space. Just because we're in the bear market, there's some things that are here to stay. Just as you saw the ICO market in 2017, the issuance of tokens just hasn't stopped. It's just unfortunate that many of them are scams, but just as DeFi, many DeFi platforms come up and they're scams, but they're those that are established themselves. Just like in tokens, you see things like Chainlink, you see other ERC20 tokens that have become juggernauts, even the Binance token itself. It's the same thing with DeFi, the DeFi platforms that have survived and they're going to weather the storm, and they're going to be the very foundation of the future of decentralized finance. So without forgetting, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, because obviously it helps support the growth of this channel. I'll be extremely thankful. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye. See you on the next one.